Good to go.
Good to go.
And we are back. We are back indeed. Some love hearts and thumbs up emojis are coming through. And we like to introduce you all in the guest area, in the audience, to Alex Salmon from Champagne Salmon. And we are super, super, super excited to discuss everything around your champagnes this evening. So thank you so much for joining us, Alex.
You're welcome.
And we've got lots of your amazing champagne to taste with you as well.
And they have been very, very popular with our guests this week. So, like we've said at home, if you have got a glass, then this would be the perfect time for you to raise a glass to Alex. We can enjoy it all together and talk all things champagne.
So,
Perfect.
to start off, very excited. So,
I think it must be your boy.
it is. So, Alex, you joined the domain in 2003.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your role and how that has changed over the years?
Okay. So when I started, I was just 20 years old, and when I start like a normal guy working with the other guy from the estate, because some people were working on my estates before I was born. So the first employer guy was my grandfather, then my father, and then me. So it was slowly, and I have to work and practice everything, because when you are a familial estate, you have to know everything from pruning the vines, tilling, doing works in the vineyard. It could be also for the vinification, commercialization, everything. And step by step, I take more decision. My father let me take more decision. And now, since a few years, is a little bit lost, because we changed some way to work. And for example, since last year, we start to work in an organic way.
Yeah.
And so for how to work the soil and stuff like that, it's always new things, a lot of new tools. And now working, it's mostly in the office, unfortunately, but to sell it's to be in the office. When I'm in the vineyard, it's more difficult to sell wine and to promote brand.
Of course. And since you joined, you mentioned there's been a lot of changes, and lots of changes more recently that you have made to the domain. Could you tell us a little bit about some of those big changes that you have made?
Yeah, so the last big changement I did was the organic way. So we are in the second years of conversion, and it's big changement because we put away product from chemical. So we have to learn everything again. And because for my father generation, the chemical product were new stuff. It was something very amazing, and you had some product to kill grass and stuff like that. So it was very good for them because it was new stuff and the work was more easy. Now we are going in the other way, going again towards the soil and no more chemicals. So only copper and to protect the vineyard, but we can use also essential oil and other plants to do it. And the first changement I did, it was when I came back, we start working oak barrels because my father always say, I don't want to do that. It was the first changement and the more easy to do.
So you had to convince your father to use the oak. So was that easy to tell him or not?
As always, when you want to do a changement in a familial estate, the first is to convince the family it's good before to convince the clients it's good way.
Yes.
Sometimes you can lose times. More times than you want.
Definitely. No, great stuff.
So we know that you have introduced 100% Meunier cuvées, and it's quite a strong quote of yours to restore the glory to Meunier. And we had some guests asking today about what do you mean by restoring the glory?
With the what?
So restoring the glory to Meunier.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, for a lot of people, a few years ago, Meunier wasn't good grapes. But if you check a little bit in Champagne, something a few years ago, it was the second most planted grapes in the Champagne area, and it was also 90% of Meunier in the world were planted in Champagne. So finally, it's the most typical grapes from Champagne. We change a little bit because more famous in Champagne, so more famous outside of Champagne. So you can start to find Meunier from Australia, New Zealand, UK, Belgium, California, Oregon. So it starts to be more and more famous.
So you're bringing that history back from what used to be, obviously, Meunier and Champagne have such a strong connection. With your new wines, they are bringing that back to the forefront to for everyone to try. And the Meunier, the 100% Meunier and the Rosé are just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. They are so special. So could you tell us a little bit about the terroir in Champzy and how that helps the Meunier?
So in Champzy, we are chalk and clay with the biggest part of clay. And we are also part of Champagne, one of the coolest in Champagne. So Meunier, it's good grape that kind of place because the birds start to grow later. So for frost, like that week we had, because we had a lot of frost, we were 5 or 6 degrees under zero. So
Wow.
it's 6 degrees.
Yes, scary.
And we have small part of Chardonnay, but the birds were already outside. So
Okay.
I think next week we'll be able to see, and we will not have a lot of Chardonnay that year in your part. But for the Meunier, it's different because the birds are still close, so they will start later.
So that's good that the frosts haven't affected you yet for the Meunier. So
Normally,
yes, let's hope it gets a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
So with the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir that you grow, how is that different to the Meunier in your plots with the same soils?
So in our village, since beginning of 90s, only Meunier grapes. But now that people are planting more and more Chardonnay and Pinot Noir because big brands pay a little bit better for Chardonnay. They are running their own Chardonnay. But we are independent wine grower and only using the grape, we still have a lot of Meunier. We have 85% of our estate with only Meunier grapes.
Yeah.
We have a small part of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, so about 12.5% of each.
Mm-hmm.
No, 70% of each. It's because it's also good to do some different kind of blend.
Yes.
Because if I just work Meunier, so for some people it will be difficult to understand why that cuvée is different from the other, because it's the same grapes. So it's to have some different grapes for that.
Yes, of course. So the Pinot Noir and Chardonnay go into the AS cuvée.
Yeah.
So it's a favourite of ours, and lots of people have tried it this week.
Okay.
And could you tell us the inspiration behind that wine?
Yeah, so for cuvée AS, it's because I'm Alexandre Salmon.
Hey, of course.
We choose that name because we start to work oak barrels when I came back, and for that cuvée, you said we can do the traditional blend, the most famous blend in Champagne with 50% Chardonnay, 50% Pinot Noir, but we want to do it differently. So we choose to vinificate everything in oak barrels. We keep Chardonnay longer than Pinot Noir because there is a little bit more acidity in Chardonnay at the beginning, so it can age a little bit longer for that reason. So we keep 20 months for Chardonnay, 8 months for Pinot Noir.
Of course, and it's such a unique wine and unique champagne, and a lot of our guests have found it very interesting to try such a different champagne to many others. And I think it's something that we love and that we are passionate about, bringing these sort of wines into the UK.
Yeah.
And for the UK consumer to try something different.
Something different, yeah.
Mm.
So obviously the cuvée is named after yourself, so you would enjoy drinking this, but at what time do you like to drink it? Is it more on its own or paired with food, or whenever you would like?
You have two ways to drink cuvées. The first, it's for aperitif, because champagne it's mostly aperitif. If you have, for example, 4 people, you will open the bottle directly from the fridge. You will serve the 4 glasses, and you will keep the bottle on the table open, going a little bit warmer. Like that, aroma will change because right now the cuvée AS was bottling in 2011, so 10 years ago. So like that, the wine will open a little bit and the aroma will change.
Yeah.
And you can drink a second glass and you will have different aroma. Although the way is to use it for to drink the meal.
Yeah.
With chemicals, so you can't drink it with too strong or too spicy food, but with food like I don't know, chicken or stuff like that, it's very good. And we work
I've just poured myself a glass. I couldn't resist to have a glass. With this cuvee then, with the AS, for me, like you said, if you let it rest and open in the glass, it becomes a little bit more balanced and lots of the aromas come through. I think it's so amazing. I absolutely love it. One thing I would like to ask is, with this release that we have, it's 2010, is it, the base vintage?
inside bottle, so the Chardonnay from 2009.
Yes, correct.
At the beginning of the alcoholic fermentation, we will fill the barrels, and we will keep it 20 months in barrels.
Yeah.
So they are from 2010, and we do the same process, but 1 year later, so just keeping 8 years in barrels. Then we will do bottling, 8 months, sorry. Then we will do bottling in 11, so 8 months later. So just before bottling, we will empty the barrels.
So with this wine that we have, the big question is, are there a different release in the cellars? Are there 2010, 2011, or is there a wait until the right vintage?
So is it the way to what?
Are you waiting for a different vintage, or is there 2010 and 2011 blend, or what's the next release?
So that one was bottling 11. I have another bottling in 13, another bottling in 16.
Amazing.
Yeah, and when you try the first time start to sell the cuvée AS, we didn't expect to keep it so longer in the cellar. But at the beginning, after 2 years, you will start to do some tries. So you will prepare something like 6 bottles, and you will taste it. And when you will taste it, it's amazing because there is no wood taste, no oak taste at the beginning. So you have to keep it longer, and which after 10 years, we find the good balance for us.
Mm. That's good that there will be more of this cuvee.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had lots of guests interested in this week, so they were all asking, well, what happens when the 2009, 2010 runs out and there's none left? They said, well, we'll ask Alex if there are more in the cellar aging.
Yeah, so then be another vintage, other booking, so it will be 11 and 12.
11, 12. We'll look forward to that one. That's great. So we've talked a little bit about you changing to organic. What have you done that process with sustainability and biodynamics? How's that worked?
So, where we don't go in biodynamic? No, sorry.
So what things have you done to become organic? What processes?
So it's very easy to become organic at the beginning because you just have to use copper and 4 kilograms maximum per year and per hectare. Then you can't use herbicide, you can't use insecticides also to kill the insect. So it's the big way is like that. And then you have to work the soil. So it's a little bit more work in the vineyards, but I think it's better for everybody later.
Yes, and we had a question when we was tasting this with a guest, and they asked about your yields in the vineyards.
Yeah.
How do they compare to other people? Are the yields very high or medium or low? Do they change?
The what? Sorry, I don't understand.
It's okay. The harvest, so the yields of the grapes.
Yeah.
So do they change if they are high yield, so picking every single grape, or a smaller amount?
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So for the month last year, my first year in conversion was very easy, very not a lot of rain, warm year, so we don't have problem.
Yeah.
And we will see that year what will happen. But no, in Champagne, the general sales are going down. So every year there is a discussion between negotiant and cooperative and independent wine grower to decide the quantity of grapes we can prune during harvest. So right now it's small appellation. So for 2020 it was 8,000 kilograms per hectare, so 50 hectoliters per hectare. But 4 years ago it was 12,000 kilograms per hectare. So we lost 1/3 of the production by the law.
Wow, yeah, it's a big change.
So I think no, it's a good time to change in organic way, because for sure it's just a small part of harvest with the works, because when before we were working soils, since we started working soils 10 years ago, but we were not doing all the estate without herbicide.
Yeah.
But no choice, so we are doing everything without herbicide. So we cut some roots and stuff like that on the vines. So the vines we need sometimes to be a little, to start to be again more producing. But it's a good time.
So it was good timing to start to convert. It was no, that's great. And we've got a question in the audience. So somebody has asked around the Salmon AS. So around AS, they have said, would you consider decanting the AS?
Yes, so, it's possible, but the only bad things in decanting, you will lose the first taste when you are opening the bottle and taking a first glass and letting the wine opening in the bottle. So you will directly have the wine open, so you will lose that part. You will lose the small part bubble, but it's not a problem. You can do it. Yeah,
I think James, who asked this question, we tried this wine with him on Tuesday, and he said he would be very interested to try it, but maybe the guests and the clients would maybe think, why are you decanting a champagne? But because it's such a beautiful wine and the aromas are amazing and the body is so rich, it could be an interesting idea.
No, it's good for the show.
Yes, they're good for the show as well. Another question that has come in from Francesco that you were chatting to before.
Yeah, I don't think you can get your way out of this one.
We've asked Francesco to come up with some food pairings for the AS. So, but he has asked you what would be your perfect food pairing with the AS.
I think the best food pairing is to drink it alone to appreciate more the aroma. But yes, I said a little bit earlier, you can with meat like chicken and stuff like not too heavy or spicy meat, because you will lose too much aroma in the champagne.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great answer. I think sometimes in the UK, when you have such a beautiful wine, we can take away the amazing aromas and flavors by trying to pair it with food. Yeah. Sometimes it can just sit on its own and it will be amazing. And I'm enjoying it now on its own, and it's beautiful. It's really really special. So one thing that we would like to ask is, you are a member of the special. Yes. So could you tell us a little bit more around how that works in Champagne and the standards and everything around the special club?
So you want just to finish with the AS, because someone asked for the dosage.
Someone asked, I think you're better than me. Yes, what's the dosage, please, from Fran?
Yeah, so the dosage is 7 grams per liter. I don't think there is on this label.
No, it's not. I've just checked.
Not that one. All the other, but not that one.
In our portfolio.
So when we choose the dosage, it's always difficult, because we have to find the good balance between wine and sugar. It's not us who really decided, it's the wine who decide. So we did some tries without dosage, 3 grams, 6 grams, 9 grams first. Then we selected the best like that. So for example, here it was 6 grams per liter. So we need to do a second time dosage trying. So 5, 6, 7. And we decided it was 7. So at the beginning, when I start to sell that cuvée is expected to do extra brut, so less than 6 grams of sugar per liter, but we find the good balance with 7 grams. So normally, mostly of people didn't expect there is 7 grams of sugar per liter.
No, definitely. I think it's very well hidden. You wouldn't know there was 7 grams in the wine. And I love how you say that the wine makes the decision, not the winemaker. And just non-dosage then, we've had
Special club without dosage.
special club cuvee. So that is 0 dosage.
Yeah.
So
because Special Club 13 is not a good example for that, but mostly for the single plot we are doing, we try to do without dosage. Because when you are doing a single plot, you want to speak about terroir, people smell terroir. So if you put more sugar, if you add sugar, you will lose a small part of typicity of the wine. But if we need it, we will do it. So for example, now we are selling the Special Club 13 in white. So without dosage, I think it's a good balance. Same for Maceration Rosé 2013. And now we are doing tries with the 14. And for the 14, no, sorry, for the 14 it's okay for without dosage, but for the 15 we are doing try now, and we try without dosage, but for rosé, the white is okay without dosage, it's a good balance, but for the rosé 15, so you will have it in 2 years, something like that, I think we will add between 1 to 3 grams of dosage.
Interesting. So yeah, so the different vintage will have a different dosage, and like you said, the wine is the decider. So
yeah, it's always to find a good balance.
Yeah. So moving on then to the special club. Could you tell us a little bit more around how that works?
So the special club, we are 26 members now, and to be members in special club, you need to have the godfather from already a member of the club, and we will present you to we will present estate to the board of club, and then we will say, okay, we want to continue with that guy, so we will go to visit him. So they will visit the estate, see how he works for the vineyards, for the cellar. Now they are also checking for the vineyards, and they will also do a small tasting of different wine to see if we are enough qualitative or not to go in club treasure. And the typicity of Special Club, we are the only club of Champagne sharing the same shape of bottle. Because Special Club was created in 71, and the goal was to have his own shape of bottle, because in 71 it was very expensive to have his own shape. Now it's very usual to have different shape. As you can see with the QVS, we have a special shape, but it's very easy to find it in Champagne. So it's almost traditional shape, that kind of shape. So it was to have that, something different. So we share the shape of the bottle, share the label, even if now it changed a little bit, everybody can put his own label, but at the beginning it was a traditional label like I use now. But I will change too. And also,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No.
It's interesting to learn the history behind the Special Club, and obviously how it dates back into the 70s. So with this cuvee then, you've got 60% Chardonnay, 40% Pinot Noir from 2013. What was the decision to make that blend, obviously, away from Meunier?
Yeah, because as you say, I produce a lot of Meunier, but today, you ready to choose wine without Meunier. So for that cuvée, as I said, it's not easy all the time to work in family, and I wasn't totally I agree with my father for that one. So, but we did that one. For the 13, it's like that. We didn't do it in 14 in white, but in 15 it will be 70 May 30 Chardonnay.
Wow.
And it will be only Meunier grapes in Special Club, and always the same plot.
Amazing. Wow. So that would be very unique for the Special Club to have 70% Meunier.
For next vintage.
For 2015, yeah. That sounds very exciting. So could you tell us about this single vineyard wines, the Parcellaire?
Yeah. So in Champagne, many years ago, it was about 10% of vintage wine and 90% of non-vintage wine, because Champagne is mostly blending wine. We blend grapes, we blend years, we blend plots, we blend everything. But now we want to speak more about terroir, and everybody wants to find his own identity, and the best way to find his own identity is to work with his own terroir. Because in Champagne, we are it's very big area because I can drive 2 hours south of my place and I'm still in Champagne area, or I can drive 1 hour on my left and I'm still in Champagne. Only one appellation. It's not like in Burgundy or Bordeaux. In Burgundy and Bordeaux, you are buying Castel, you are buying a plot, something like Pommard, for example, in Burgundy. But in Champagne, you buy Champagne everywhere. And so now we decided, I think not me, but generally in Champagne, everybody decided to speak more about terroir and have his own typicity. So that's why we are doing more and more single plots. And I think the 90% non-vintage wine and 10% vintage wine is changing. And no, I think it's almost, I'm sure it's a 20% vintage wine and 80% non-vintage wine.
Definitely. And that's what we really loved about your range and your cuvées, was how it drew the terroir from your plots. And that's what we as a business about. We want to change the UK's perception of Champagne, that it can be around a wine and a wine of place. And that's what's important to us. And we feel that your cuvées definitely sing terroir in your vineyards, which is
and the
super.
New and the alternative and the different ideas and interpretations of wine.
Definitely. We've got another question here.
Yeah. So we have just been speaking with Marianne from Maison Gamay, and she was talking all about Meunier and the aging of Meunier. And somebody's asking if you have the same point of view.
So
I didn't hear about from Marianne. I just something like 10 minutes, so I don't. Yeah,
Marianne was talking about how the Meunier, it ages very quickly. Is that similar to you and your plots, or is it slightly different? Do you think differently?
No, she probably says that because she's jealous. She doesn't have a lot of Meunier grapes.
Yeah.
No, with my kind of soil, Charles Conclave is the biggest part of it. We have a lot of freshness and minerality in Meunier grapes. So some people from other part in Champagne says always Meunier can't age, so we just keep it 15 months and sell it. So the minimum we keep in bottles, and we are not doing the malolactic fermentation because you will lose a small part of freshness with malolactic fermentation. But on my place, we age the non-vintage Meunier 3 years minimum. Now we are selling vintage Meunier. It was bottling in 16. So 5 years in bottles before selling it. And we are always doing the malolactic fermentation to bring more grass in the wine. And the reason I always do the malolactic fermentation, the only way to don't do the malolactic fermentation is to add sulfite. So we are always trying to degrease product inside. So it's something very easy to do, because when you don't do the malolactic, you say you blocked it, literally it's going.
Wow, that's really interesting, because some people will think that not having malolactic fermentation can be a little bit better for the wine and the environment. But with you saying you have to use sulfites to do that, that's interesting. I've learned something there. That's good. I've definitely learned something. So with your Meunier cuvées, as you said, you age them for a good few years before release. And the Meunier Brut, that's the rosé. We've got all your bottles here. They've been that popular. We've all that out this week.
That one was bottling in 16. So wine are 15 and older.
So this was disgorged in September 2020, disgorged.
Yeah, it's not the bottling, so yeah.
Yes.
Bottling 16, so we keep it from July 16 to September 20. So 4 years on lease before disgorging. So
4 years on lease, yeah.
Mm.
And that's quite a long time for Meunier.
No, if you come on the estate, you can see I have some Meunier from 70. They are still good.
Yes,
Wow.
definitely still good. So this cuvée is for 100% Meunier.
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing. It's got such good depth, and I think that's because of the aging. And it's the first time I tried this, I was wow. I was speechless because it was so special. And what's been great is this week some of our guests who have tried this have said the same. Everybody has really enjoyed it. So I think that is testament to the way that you harvest and plant and look after the Meunier grape in Champagne.
No, but yeah, for me, for us it's more easy to work like. And yeah, before we were speaking about food pairing.
Yes.
Something I think funny for food pairing, you probably didn't expect. You do Meunier with sushi.
Wow, amazing! So we had a conversation with a Japanese restaurant this morning, and he was talking around what would work with sushi and that Asian cuisine. So if only we had your idea, we could have said the Meunier. So we'll give that a try.
I can't confirm because I don't eat seafood. So, but
okay.
I paid someone to do some food pairing, and he told me one of the best with the Meunier grapes was sushi on Meunier grapes.
Amazing! Wow, that's incredible. So I'm not sure if anybody else in the audience has some more questions. I'm conscious that there's been lots of people talking in the chat. Any more questions for Alex before we finish? Alex, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time and your knowledge, and sharing everything that you know about Meunier, and to learn more around AS was very interesting, especially around the and confirming, obviously, to all our guests that it's named after yourself, yours truly.
And I hear you were speaking about Coteau Champenois with Marianne.
Ah, yes, super.
That's my last week. I just decided which wine will be in Coteau Champenois or not, because I was selling my 16 and I'm sold out. So we are just deciding to do a new one with red wine from 18. And for the white, we are doing also white Coteau Champenois. On the white, it will be a 2020 from a plot we did in a biodynamic way.
Wow.
More organic biodynamic way.
Yes, we were talking today around your Coteau Champenois. So you had a red and a white?
Yeah. Yeah. And we are doing it since we are doing maceration rosé, because with only Meunier has less concentration than Pinot Noir, but now we are doing maceration rosé, so we put out a part of the juice, and then we continue to do the maceration to extract more color and more aroma for the red wine. And now we are able to do, since 2012, able to do maceration red Coteau Champenois Rouge.
Definitely, and we've had lots of interest in the Coteau Champenois this week as well. So we'll have a conversation about those and what we can do with some of those incredible ones. And that's just triggered another question from me. So with the rosé, so the blend of that is the 20% rosé Meunier and 5% red Meunier.
Yeah.
So how did you create that blend?
So because in fact we have in my family we have on my estate we have 3 different range. A range with blending wine with 3 grapes or 2 grapes, like AS is the top of that range. We have a range with 100% Meunier. So inside we have non-vintage white, non-vintage rosé. We have vintage rosé, vintage white, Coteau Champenois Rouge, white or Coteau Champenois red, and we also have a ratafia. And we have to find 3 different kind of rosé. So the first, for the blending range, it's traditional blends. We add 12% of red wine just before bottling in the white wine to have the color and the taste. For the maceration rosé, it's very easy. It's maceration, you have no choice. But for the 100% Meunier rosé, to find something a little bit different and to find different aroma, we decided to blend the 3 color. So 75% of white, 20 of maceration rosé, and 5 of red wine. And I think we find a good way like that because it brings more. It's more less aggressive in red, so it's more delicate wine. And
yes, definitely. I think it's a blend that is very unique, and our guests this week have really enjoyed learning that, and because it's a rosé that is slightly different. It's in the UK, a lot of the rosés that get drank are very fruity and very light, whereas with this, it's the blend gives it a little bit more depth and more flavour to it, which is amazing.
Perfect.
I've just got. I'm sorry to keep adding questions in, but one thing we haven't spoke about is the Montgolfier.
Yeah.
So the hot air balloon.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have something different because in Champagne we are the only winemaker, also pilot of balloon, my father and me. We are both pilot. So we have something different, so we push on. So normally, no, because when you are selling product, the best is to be different, not because you are the baddest wine or the best wine, but to be different, like people can recognize you easy. So you have an easy name to pronounce. Everywhere it's very easy to pronounce Salmon, up to you.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to remember and pronounce. You have the range of Meunier grapes, so to have something different also with other winery, because I think we are the first to have a full range of Meunier grapes. And also you have the hot air balloon. So it's very easy and it's very nice, and it brings dreams for a lot of people. So
some of our guests are talking about coming to visit you. So I'm sure Fran, who is in the audience, would love a visit on the Montgolfier, on the hot air balloon. And somebody's just asked that.
Had a question.
Yeah, that's right.
When you get visitors, do you do?
Yeah, but we don't do it very often.
Okay.
Because we need a perfect weather.
Yes.
So for example, today here it's very you can see that it's blue sky for people outside of hot air balloon world. Say, oh, the weather is perfect, you can do flight, but no, there is too much wind, and sometimes it could be perfect weather, but during 2 weeks it was raining. So even if it never happens in Champagne, but so you can do the flight, but to put down the balloon is very difficult because everything is wet, so you can't do it for the reason too. So we prefer say mostly no, but people are no disappointment for people like that, I think.
So I think everybody would be super excited to come and visit and to come and see the vines and yourself, and to learn lots more about your amazing champagnes. And when we are out to travel again, I know France are going into another little lockdown. Hopefully we're coming out of it, but fingers crossed we'll be able to travel very soon. And we'll bring a full team, as Fran in the audience is saying. We'll come and visit you and have a great time as well.
Perfect, no worries.
So Alex, I'd just like to say a massive thank you. It's been a pleasure to speak to you and to more around your champagnes. And I will raise another glass to everything that you do. Thank you for all your support so far with us and the business. It's very, very much appreciated, and we will look forward to visit soon.
So it will be a pleasure to receive everybody.
Yes, I'm sure we will bring lots of people.
No worries.
Alex, thank you very much, and we will see you again soon. And thank you once again.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alex. Bye-bye. And we are still on. I'm sure we can still see everybody. Amazing. So we'll stay very quickly on screen just to have a little chat with you. I am sure you will agree. What an evening.
It's been,
wow.
Yeah, it's been great to speak with Alex and Marianne, learn more about...
And to share that with you guys.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been able to speak to them, but also for you guys to meet them as well and be able to ask those questions. It's very unique and it's fantastic.
I think what we try to do is we try to relay their stories and their passion and what they're about. It's
nothing.
We can't get anywhere close to what they can do. So yeah. I think from Alice yesterday evening, those that joined us, into Marianne and Alex today, I am sure you will appreciate the amazing work that they do and the amazing stories that they tell. And 3 completely different winemakers, yeah. 3 completely different families, and that shows the sort of complexities in Champagne that we're trying to bring, isn't
but each one so passionate about everything that they do.
Indeed, and you can hopefully see those that have received our portfolio or visited our website. You can see how these guys really match up with our philosophy, and
yeah.
they really sort of want to help us with what we're trying to do. And the reason we teamed up with these guys, and not just because their wines are incredible, but that their philosophies match what we are trying to achieve in the UK with terroir-driven wines, focus on the environment, a real strong identity and story, a passion for everything that they're trying to do.
Underpins all of our key values.
Exactly. So, and Alex is commenting away in the comments, so that's amazing. Look at that. So, Fran, I cannot wait to catch up with you and to discuss all the exciting things that we can do. And
I am praying that when we can go out in a huge group, when we can meet with more than 6 people, and hopefully the weather is nice, it's not wet, and we can all go up in the hot air balloon.
We'll have to pre-book with Alex, but that has been an amazing evening, and unfortunately tomorrow is our final day. However, the best is yet to come. I think Francesco and James will tell us. We will have Francesco and James with us tomorrow. They've both been in the audience tonight, and we will be looking at delivering a food pairing masterclass / Q&A. And Francesco was trying to cheat today with trying to
yeah, we saw it, Francesco. We did
asking Alex for some AS recommendations. So we will be having a drink with Francesco and James, and we will be talking all things food and champagne.
And we have said that we want this session to be probably the most engaging, because
Definitely.
We know you guys are so engaged with air meat now. You know exactly how to use it, and we're already inviting 2 more people onto the stage as speakers. We would like more people to come onto the stage and talk all things food and champagne.
So definitely bring a glass tomorrow. When we do the poll tomorrow, it needs to be 100%.
Got to be.
And please share to anybody you feel would enjoy joining us tomorrow. We'll get you up on stage. We'll ask some questions. We'll share best practice. We'll talk everything champagne and food, and we will certainly have a great time tomorrow. So meet us for James and Francesco's session, and the closing celebration will be us raising a big glass together. We'll look forward to that one.
Definitely.
So thank you. Oh, I've got a little comment there from Fran. Sorry,
yeah, unfortunately,
can you get
Fran,
commission? Oh, I wish.
Yeah, I wish we could.
No commission for recommending air meat, but what we will do is we will obviously, if anybody wants to use this software, it was a little bit tricky to understand at the start, but once we got there,
I think I've produced.
You're the boss at this one.
Yeah. So Cameron said we're going to be using air meat for our conference. I said, oh, okay, we've never used this before, so we had to produce a user guide, which all of you have received, and then we was welcoming people from France. So I then had to produce
it must have worked.
A French user guide. So
it
there
must
we go.
Have worked.
It's a fantastic one.
So we're glad you've enjoyed that. We're glad you enjoyed the session so far. And like I said, tomorrow is going to be really engaging. We're going to get people up on the stage. We're going to share lots of wine. We're going to invite everybody that's been on the tastings to bring a glass and share it with us.
Bring your favourite glass.
We will be asking you to come up on stage and talk to us about the wines that you've had this week and any food pairings as well. So get your thinking brains on, get out your PJs or stay in your PJs. It doesn't matter, does it? I've got my joggers on underneath the camera, so it doesn't matter, does it? So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a great evening again. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, and then we will have a closing celebration together. So let's cheers to that. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers to everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow.